I have been going through a quite difficult period in my life where first I lost my job, then I lost the flat where we were living with my flatmate, and then I decided to take a break of everything. I went back to my country where I spent 2 months, but then suddenly I started kind of feeling this kind of like restlessness. And I felt very like stressed out of nothing. I can feel like I can't find space where I can actually just settle. And then suddenly I started having the panic attacks where I couldn't breathe. I was having this kind of it was just out of a sudden, and I have never experienced such things before. I think it was right after the session, on the day after I came to see you, and on the other day I had to actually fly to Bulgaria again, and I kind of felt so at peace, and I have never felt like this for the past few months. And as I said in the beginning, I was feeling so restless and so much under pressure, and I had the problems with the breathing, and then suddenly I kind of felt like so relieved, so free and at peace with myself. And I felt like, oh my gosh, it's like it felt it was such a change. And I also felt that I kind of discovered where the problem was coming from. So I understand that actually it was my belly that was so actually contracted that you kind of squeeze yourself and you can't breathe out of this because you feel so much pressure, and it just, you don't allow yourself to breathe because everything inside yourself is basically contracting. I have never asked myself the question, how do I actually really breathe? How does the process is happening? But now it actually really helped me discover, that the realization came right after the session. And yes, and I felt like so grateful, because I was quite scared. But yeah, that's what the feeling was. And I guess after all these experiences that I had, I kind of feel more fearless, I guess, and kind of make you think about life and how you can overcome all these challenges, and how you can really perceive those as just as experiences, and not take them so personally and deeply, so then they don't affect your health after that. Kind of make you feel like, okay, I don't have much time, right? I have to really not allow all these outside circumstances have such an effect on my life. So it's like they're controlling how I feel, why I'm allowing this to happen. It really wasn't like a shock or something. It more was like a revelation about things and how my body works and what affects me, and how actually I'm affecting, how I'm allowing the outside world to have an effect on my life. And from there on I decided that, okay, this is actually, I can control this. And now I find myself living more into that moment, and just really be more kind of having fun with the things that I do. Don't take them so seriously, because nothing is so serious that we think it is. It's more like it's like a movie, trying to find a way to step outside of it and observe it as an observer on what happens to you, rather being inside the situation and makes the things much worse, right? Because you can't really think it when you're in the situation, when you experience something, it feels like there is no way out, but there is always a way out. I guess I have become less judgmental towards things, and I will have I think I have been having lots of expectations, and when your expectations are not met, you kind of feel, you start feeling a little bit down and depressed. But now I'm kind of willing to try things, and I have been a very judgmental person. I mean, not only towards the situations, but towards people as well, and why people do what they do. I kind of figured out that basically I also have been having hard times because I was actually feeling sad because of what people do and how people live, and I kind of couldn't find myself fitting inside this world, and it was very hard actually. And I was feeling at some point that how am I going to continue living in this world where I don't really find myself living in. But then I realized that I don't have control over these things. I only have control over how I feel about that. And why would I change? Why would I judge people for their choices? That really doesn't concern me. The only thing that I can do is basically I'm responsible for my actions and for my thoughts and for my beliefs and for what I choose to believe in, but not for other people's choices, right? And once I just started reminding myself this, and now I find it much more easier to live with the world the way it is, because I'm not taking other people's, I'm not judging other people for what they do, and I feel free out of this. I don't really care about that anymore, and it's like the world doesn't hurt you as much as it was hurting you before. If you don't try, you'll never know. You always have to give a chance to things. Of course, it is about feeling. I'm a person who follows their feelings, and if it feels right for you, then go for it. If it doesn't, then don't, because you always have to discover what is good for you. What works for one doesn't necessarily work for someone else, but you have to have the feeling that this is something that you would really willing to try, and if that feeling is there, then go with it. Don't be afraid to try something different.